Do you have a million things to do and not enough time to do them? Or maybe you're drowning in a sea of responsibilities. Either way, you are dealing with the overwhelm. And today on this show, we're talking about how to overcome your overwhelms.
I'm kind of overwhelmed because I hadn't thought of a 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so I think all of us have at one point or another, or are currently in some sort of state of overwhelm.
Let's go with currently because I'm feeling it
yeah.
these days.
Yes, us too.
Yeah.
We just.
No, I said I'm feeling it, and you said us too.
Well, me too. Am too. R2.
R2D2.
Well, we just got off of, we traveled for a conference, and then I traveled the very next week for another conference, and then we just had a big show that I had to perform in yesterday.
I had open heart surgery a few months ago, you know.
You know.
Who's remembering that overwhelm? Remember that overwhelm?
Oh, quite clearly.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever it may be in your life, there are times where you just want someone to throw you
off the bridge.
No.
Just take care of it now.
No, to throw you a lifesaver to try to help you in the midst of...
Serious question.
Okay.
What is the flavor of the lifesaver?
Orange, always.
And is that really going to help?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless they have stinky breath, then you give them the mint lifesaver.
Yeah. No, if it's somebody you don't like, you give them, what's the fruit gum that lasts 3 seconds of taste?
Fruit Stripes?
Fruit Stripe. Yeah, you give them that gum if you hate someone. Or Juicy Fruit. The most delicious gum on the planet lasts 5 seconds.
Yes.
Anyway. This is not what we should be talking about.
This has nothing to do with being overwhelmed.
I'm so wanting to ignore the overwhelm that I'd rather talk about gum sticks.
Well, I think that is your go-to.
That's what I do.
That's how you handle your overwhelms. You are one that will be like ostrich, head into the sand, and just totally
they
ignore.
kind of pile up, but I'm pretty good at ignoring them, and I'll just focus on something else.
Well, and that could be a good thing.
It can be.
Especially for someone like me.
Yeah,
because
you're
that's
the
where we
complete
balance.
opposite. We are a good balance there because you're a list maker.
I am a list maker, and not only a list maker, but it will just sit and marinate again and again and again in my brain. And I always talk about that Harry Potter moment in the movie where Dumbledore takes his wand and he pulls the memory out and drops it, and he can put it in this little vial. And so for me, writing the things out on a list is as if I have pulled it out of my brain, and it's like, okay, now it's on a list, and now I don't have to worry about it as much.
Man, I really wish I would have stayed awake in those movies. I would have
had
a moment.
Snoozing.
Yeah. Sorry, kids. That and Lord of the Rings. Those are tough to make it through for me.
So if you are one so this will be good because you are one that has a tendency to do the Heisman. Yeah. Do you see what I did there? I did a sports reference.
What is the Heisman?
I don't know. It's a trophy.
What do they get it for?
I don't know.
Running down a field?
I think they have
great
to
job.
do this
If they have to make that pose?
They have to make that
and
pose.
Hold it for a while so they can sculpt.
They're running down the field.
Yeah, they're sculpting it out of the bronze. They've got to go harvest the bronze in Turkey somewhere.
Yes.
And then bring it back all the while. The guy, that is pretty impressive. No wonder they give a trophy for that.
Right. But I think that you're one that will turn and run, and I'm one that needs someone to say, come and escape. Because I'll just sit and ruminate in it.
Sometimes I think making the list, even though I know that helps get it out of your mind and get it in an order, sometimes that even feels overwhelming to me.
Well, that's for you, though.
I know, but it
Isn't
just
that
seems like
interesting?
you're writing this list, and isn't that making you more like, oh no, look at all those things that are piling up? Well, okay.
To me, it breaks it down into actionable steps that I can actually kind of.
Yes.
I've got a game plan.
Yeah, but that helps me because I know sometimes at some point I have to bring my head out of the sand and deal with what's at hand. Boom, that's a song.
Wow.
Hey, copywritten. But then you'll encourage me to write those things down.
Yes.
And start taking some actionable steps.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be a
So
first
thanks.
tip. You're welcome.
Yeah.
That would be a first tip. So if you find yourself more like Trent, then maybe find someone who can encourage you to kind of actually kind of get on task a little bit.
Yeah.
Or if you're more like me and you are so overwhelmed, you need someone to say, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee. Let's go
Yeah.
shopping. Let's go
Always with the coffee.
get a dog.
What? She just like slid that in
See,
there.
that's how.
That's not
if
even
you need help-
subliminal message. Yeah.
All right, well, so let's
Let's
talk
eat
about,
some frogs.
Oh, eating frogs.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just had this conversation while we were on the plane.
Yeah.
Because, there are, now this is a differing frame of thought as well, and it comes to prioritizing your tasks.
Yeah.
So you have the mindset, and I know someone said that Mark Twain wrote the Eat the Frogs, but I think that they have now found out that he might have stolen that idea from someone else.
Nobody
But
has
the
an original idea.
Nothing is
Except
original.
for that country song earlier that I mentioned. That's an original idea.
But the idea is you eat your frog first thing in the morning. So whatever it is that is either the highest priority, has the, deadline that's looming that, you have to get it done today, or it could possibly be the thing that you are absolutely dreading. It's like you eat the frog first thing in the
Yeah.
morning, get it out of the way, and then that way you have freedom and lightness the whole rest of the day.
Yeah.
To tackle things.
It's a big debate around the house, this house these
Yeah.
days, because we're trying to figure out with all of the overwhelm we're experiencing, what do we
What do we do first?
What do we do?
Well, the other train of thought is the oxygen mask, and that was why I thought about this on the plane,
Oh, yeah.
because the stewardess or flight attendants are saying, if the oxygen masks fall down, first place it on you, so that
Start
way you
freaking
can
out.
assess. After you've hyperventilated and screamed.
Film your impending doom. Wait, I gotta get my phone out. This is gonna go crazy.
But you,
Why do people do that? The masks are down. Oh, my phone! I gotta film this. Let's do this. Look, everyone's terrified.
I don't know, to document their fear. They want to go back. You will not believe how crazy
Well,
it is. Oh, yes, you will. Here's a photo.
Wait, yeah. Who's gonna watch that footage when it's kind of below the seawater or land water?
They harvest it.
Yeah.
But the idea is, you prioritize yourself, and then you place the mask on those who need assistance. Secondly, so that was the other train of thought of, okay, well, wait, which do I prioritize? Do I prioritize what I love to do first?
Yeah.
And is that the mask? So there was that train of
Yeah.
thought that we were just kind of
My
debating.
philosophy that I when I got to thinking about that was, if you do the thing you love the most first, then what you're looking forward to may be less fun to do, and it may seem too overwhelming.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just get the kind of junk stuff that you really don't want to do but you have to do,
Yeah.
out of the way, then you're like, oh, when that's done, I can hit that thing that I love to do. The only downside to that is if you get stuck doing the stuff you don't want to do,
Yeah.
then it may cut into the time later that you've set aside for. So it's all tough.
It is tough.
Some days
And
it's going to work, some days it won't.
It's like our pastor who, back in Tennessee, he was the first in line and always had dessert first.
Yeah.
And he says, if I teach my kids anything, it's, to love the Lord and eat dessert first.
Yes.
And,
That's a good order.
That's a great order. But, if you eat the dessert first, then maybe you're not going to want to eat the vegetables at the end.
Wow.
So get the vegetables out of the way and save the dessert till the end. So it really just is a whatever your mentality is, whatever will help you become more productive or less overwhelmed, choose that mentality.
I say hide the vegetables under the cake and then just eat enough of the cake where it doesn't reveal that you've hidden your vegetables. You hear that, kids?
Just eat carrot cake, and then that way.
No, our son Tryon calls it vegetable pastry.
Yes.
That's how he got around it. That's pretty good.
That's a great one.
So after you prioritize the tasks, you may want to introduce some subcategories and break them down into smaller steps.
Yeah. So that way you can, maybe it's not this huge, overwhelming. It's the how do you eat the elephant one bite at a time.
We're a lot of
So-
weird eating references
I
in
know.
this going on. Frogs and
But
elephants.
I've not come up with those. They've
I know.
been,
It's just what we've heard. But yeah, if you can't take a bite of you can't take a very large bite out of an elephant, so you have to kind of nibble at it.
That's right. I don't know. Well, no, you can't eat the elephant all in one bite, so you have to eat it a little bit at a time.
That's what I just said.
No, you talked about how big of the bite it is.
Oh gosh, now I'm overwhelmed again. Never ends. Go make a list.
Well, well, I think part of the benefit of making a list is suddenly you can see, okay, wait a second, I can maybe delegate this task to someone else.
You're getting close there.
Just, hey,
Oh,
how
how
you
you
doing?
doing again?
But you can maybe hand that task off to someone else.
Yeah.
And that might help you prioritize where it's not so all on you. And I have that struggle with, like, I feel like I have to do everything. I don't know. It's not that I don't think that anyone else would be able to do it, but it's like, okay, will it really get done?
Mine is I'm already up. I'll just do it. Or
Yeah.
I'm already gathering everything I need, so just let me do it, and I don't have to worry you with it. And that's not always the best attitude either.
No, especially if that is like, I'm always doing everything, and it causes a frustration
I'm,
instead of it actually, being well, this is a servant's thing. I'm already up. Let me help you. It could,
I've confessed this to the kids before, where especially with them helping them with a project or something, and I just sort of take over and do it for them, as opposed to the whole, hey kids, here's your dad giving you great advice
Here's
of
how-
how to actually do it, and I'm just going, just give it here, I'll do it. You're not doing it right and all that kind of stuff.
You're
so
not that mean.
So I've had to say, I'm sorry guys,
Because learning is through doing sometimes and practicing.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked about listing out how I like to make lists.
Yeah.
And you say that doesn't work for you, but I think that you could, if you don't want to do a list, you could always do a brain dump and just kind of like write it all down on a piece of paper, haphazardly, it doesn't matter. Or if making a list or a brain dump still is too similar, you could always just even do a free write and almost like a journal entry in a way to kind of help you at least get through the emotion of whatever the overwhelm is at that moment. And that might be therapeutic, or as Barney Fife says, therapeutic.
I thought of Barney Fife too. You beat me to the reference.
I did. I think something else, like you were talking about how, reviewing and looking over the list. I think that it's okay to take breaks. I think that if you, are in the state of doing a project, it could be taxes or, something financial, or even if it's, in the middle of a DIY project and suddenly something horrible has gone wrong.
Yeah.
Just stop.
You might have to just take a break.
Take a break.
Yep.
Take some deep breaths. Walk away. Renew your focus. Go to a different room and, watch TV for 10 minutes. Whatever it is, listen to a song.
Yep.
Something that will just shift that mindset, just to temporarily stop if the snowball is rolling.
That's right. Yeah. Maybe while you're doing some deep breaths, you can just focus on what is happening in the moment. What's the reality in your surrounding area right this second? Maybe that's all that needs to be focused on.
Yeah.
Don't try to take all.
I think that that's me. I think that I have a tendency to see the enormity of what is ahead. Whereas I think that I need to help you. You will get so pinpointed and focused on one thing that I have to say, okay, wait, but there's all these other things.
Yeah.
So maybe step away from the one little thing and maybe let's move on to something else. And you're more like, don't think about that. That's 2 weeks from now. So don't even worry about that. Let's just focus on what is happening right now in this moment. So I think that that's kind of a good way to balance each other out as well. And so it's great to always have just someone who you can talk with, who is a good complement, that you feel like I can share everything with, and I know that they're going to hold me accountable. You don't always need just that yes person who's going to agree with everything. Sometimes you need someone to help challenge you and grow you.
I think you're wrong. I just did it. Next.
What if instead of making a to-do list, what if you made a no list? Like a list of boundaries, a list of
Oh, you mean
yes.
oh, that kind of no.
Yes.
Like I was thinking, yeah, don't make a list. That's perfect.
No.
No,
I'm talking
a
about
no
like
list.
so what if
Like,
you are
oh,
a
okay,
people
no.
pleaser and yeah, I'll bring the cupcakes to the classroom party and sure I'll pick up the drinks for the soccer game and of course I'll help you rearrange
Because
your
you've said
room.
yes so many times, now you're the go-to person, and it's going to wear you out. And so sometimes you just got to go, nope.
I think that it's healthier to say no. I think it's healthier to be genuine, to say, look, I have got a lot on my plate. I wish I could help you out, but right now,
Yeah.
I've got to say no for my own mental health.
Those kids
Or-
are just going to have to be thirsty after the game. Serves them right.
Well, I think that regardless of whatever it is that you're facing, if you take a step, and even if it is a step back, if you're moving, 90 miles a minute,
Yeah.
or if you are stagnant and you actually need to take a step forward, every small step is still a step.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it is motion. At least it is moving either toward the solution or away from the problem.
Yeah.
So I think that
Or maybe
celebrate.
away from danger. I kind of thought about if you step, you may be avoiding something that's coming your way. So if you think, oh, this is a step in the wrong direction, it may end up being the right direction.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I think the whole state of overwhelm begins in the mind.
Oh, yeah.
I think that it's an emotion. And, one thing that I remember we listened to a pastor, he was talking about being in a movie theater and watching a scary movie. And, your body reacts, the adrenaline rushes, you're hyperventilating, you're thinking that whatever this fear on the screen is actually going to come and get you.
Yeah.
But if the movie suddenly shut off, you would realize, okay, I'm just in a seat.
Yeah.
I'm in a theater, concrete floor, there's the exit door.
No axe wielding maniac is actually behind that door.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that is a great example of how emotions can actually drive the overwhelm. So what if I remove the emotion from this and actually renew my mindset away from whatever the emotion is that's driving the overwhelm? And what is a true non-emotional reaction to whatever this problem is?
Yeah. Well,
That's hard to do.
it is, but that's sort of the call of life, is to renew our minds. And that is the hardest thing to do because our minds are not easily renewable.
No.
And we doubt and we fear, and that is the biggest source of driving us into these states of panic when we can't quite get our minds wrapped around those things. So really it's the name of the show is Home Renewed, and we mentioned how that's supposed to be not only renewing the walls around you, but yourself too. And it is, hopefully we can encourage you to renew your mind. In the Bible, when an angel appeared, what's the phrase, the very first thing that's stated after an angel appears to someone?
Hey. No.
Sup.
No, they say, do not be afraid.
That's right. I mean, and so why are they saying that? What must that angel be seeing in front of them, this human being, to go, whoa, don't be afraid of me? That must mean
They're pretty scary looking. Or it's such a
some kind
overwhelming
I mean, like
presence or
terrifying, and not so much the negative sense but just like you would look up at a tall building and you're just in awe of this thing, and you don't even know. I can't believe how high that is, and you imagine, what if I fell off of that thing? I mean, it's a terrifying thought, something so high in the sky. So I can only imagine that these angels must have looked just imposing. Who knows what that really looked like, but for them, whatever it was, it made that person just go, whoa, I can't look at that. And they
Yeah.
said, don't be afraid. And so what follows is the most important part, because after it's do not be afraid, it's generally delivering you some good news. Hey, I got good news for you.
Yeah.
Salvation is near, or salvation is coming. And, that's maybe how we could approach this whole situation of overwhelm. It may look terrifying, it may look imposing to us, but as we renew our minds and think on this, don't be afraid of it. That imposing thing, there's good news on the other side of it.
We hope this encouraged you if you are in the state of overwhelm with us, because that's currently where we are
Yes.
in our lives as well.
Welcome.
Yes, and the water's fine, and you can
Yes.
sit right next
Yes.
to us.
Do not
and
be afraid with us.
So if you have any other encouragement that you would want to share, be sure to reach out, and that way we can make this a community help all
Yeah.
and be able to encourage each other. We would love to hear from you, and stay tuned for another episode coming out next week.